Aloha. Beautiful fam, beautiful global fam. Bliss here doing a little check-in and a little bit of a share on the energies and how we might align and play and understand and dance with the energies right now, and starting a 3-part transmission tomorrow, Miracle Night, 10 p.m. Pacific. It's an audio only transmission, and it's called Love, Sex, and Everything, because that's really what's on the table in our human genome right now. This great transfiguration that is occurring inside of our bodies, our consciousness, our relation to all things. One of the things that the Hopi prophecy said is, at this time we will have to ask ourselves, are we in right relation? And so this transmission tonight and the transmission on Friday night, that begins on Friday night, Love, Sex, and Everything, is to help us understand more intimate nature of relation inside of ourselves, with our bodies, with each other, with the planet, with energy itself. Our great sensorium, that's the word that I like to use, is our sensorium. We're really moving into sensation and sensitivity now, which is perfect because even though time isn't real and the genes aren't real, if they were, the sun, the clock, is moving into our genetics tomorrow that activates the gene of sensitivity. The shadow frequency is known as codependence, which is what humanity has been breaking themselves out of, is codependent relations and coming into independence so that we can recognize the interdependence. And so it's a really cool genetic within us, because it's known as, and Richard Rudd wrote about it in the Gene Keys, as the whisperer, because as we move out of codependent energetics and we start to take our energy back and we start to become more familiar with ourselves as an independent being, our sensitivity turns on in such a way that we can begin to hear the collective pulse of things, and that begins to align us with an understanding of the interdependence or interdependence of all things. So it's perfect alignment, because we love to take people into the sensorium, into sensation and the sensitivity beyond words, beyond personalities, beyond blueprints, just into the sensation of energy, because that's where all the yummy and delicious stuff is that we call Tantra, which is really just about our relationship with energy itself, the silly putty of the universe, the silly putty of creation. So we just want to touch on a few things that we will be sharing in the upcoming transmissions, and that will be of benefit for anyone who's tuning in right now as well. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. Okay, so one of the things, and this transmission, Love, Sex, and Everything, has just been like flowing through, like, oh, so cosmic and sensual in the body, and we're just like making a million notes as everything comes through. And that's something that we don't usually do, is make notes for transmission. So as these notes are coming in, what we're seeing, why it's coming in note form, is because the guidance is really saying, this is not just like on the table right now. This is like the opening to the new experience of what it is to be human. And that's why we're making the notes, because, hi Illumina, and everyone else who's joining. And if you think this is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. So yeah, the notes are coming through because what we're really seeing is that this new consciousness that is taking over all of us is articulating itself in such a way that we can begin to get an understanding of what is birthing inside of all of us. And as we do, we continue to relax and release and let go of everything we knew ourselves to be, because it's literally like the stage that we are on has dissolved away. And we're all this pure source consciousness that's like this new stage, this new energetic field is unfolding and revealing. And so it's about learning, understanding, sensing a whole new way of being. And the cool thing about it is it starts to ignite our supernatural capacities. So this is where things start to get really fun, synchronicities and malleable field in the interconnectedness of thought, and how we start to see our reality coming together through our co-creative thought. One of the things we're going to cover in the transmission is really getting into our root chakra, so to speak, so that because when someone is not ignited in the root chakra, they can experience a lot of fear. We have to feel rooted in our existence for this magnificent heart to open up. And as the heart opens, which is our greatest electromagnetic field, and all of the thoughts come in, and then they go into this field, and they start organizing the adamantine particles, the particles of creation, all those little particles floating around in space, start to organize themselves around our thoughts. And we would say there has never been a more significant miracle in time and space and beyond time and space to be creative, but not creative from the ego, creative from that place of relaxing and releasing and opening and letting go, such that the universe is really creating through us. And getting so much energy right now through this little share. I can really feel in my body, and is probably a sign of what is to come in tomorrow night's transmission. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting, because the purpose of this transmission, the purpose of the transmission that is starting tomorrow night, Love, Sex, and Everything, is to assist those who want to feel super empowered in the process of internal transfiguration that is going on. And who wouldn't want to feel empowered in the process that is occurring? Okay, so we're going to answer that question and say nobody would not want to feel empowered. So we are going to really get that sense of being fully in the root, so that all of this incredible energy of the heart can open up, and we can be one in our sensorium, one in our sensations, and become attuned to the 19th gene and beyond, of course, because we're way beyond that. And simultaneously, we are using still the language of the genetics to understand, to articulate where our capacity is for transformation. So the 19th gene is that attunement to sensitivity. It's like the animal whisperers, the healers, all of that energy which we all have inside of ourselves when we let go and we release from our attachment to density. And the transmission, love, sex, and everything, is going to really help us understand and be at a completion with what has come before, with what has come in our relationships before, why it happened the way that it happened, and so that we can be fully present. Because when parts of our consciousness are still hanging on to the question why and the need to understand that which has fallen away or is dissolving, then part of the consciousness is distracted from being in the presence of now. The presence of now allows us to just be fully, is very orgasmic. And so that is like the ecstatic bliss place to be inside of ourselves. And so we are going to cover the nature of that sexual energy that draws people together, and the purpose of that energy at lower frequencies, and how as that energy rises up, how we begin to meet life in love, and everything begins to feel organic and orgasmic and blissful and ecstatic, because now we have released our consciousness from the bondage to gravity and time, the bondage to physicality. It's like a flower blossoming and opening up, and that's what's happening to the cells of our body and the particles of our body, and so it's all opening up. And so the 3-part transmission, love, sex, and everything, is going to be organic and orgasmic, and just really allow our consciousness to move into a new relationship with form itself. And part of the miraculous nature of this is that as the consciousness starts to let go of its identification with who we think we are, with our physicality, with our personality, with our story, then the field becomes very open for miracles to flow, and to recognize how malleable reality really is. And it becomes fun to begin to play with it, and we begin to experience our interconnectivity and our inner connectivity with all things in a miraculous way. So, mwah. We love we. If you are called to participate, all the details are in the description box. I have posted some links for some of the most recent love streams down there. I have posted links for some of the really cool meditations that are posted on Spreaker, some of the YouTube Unity transmissions as well. And I also posted a link for the Harmonic Convergence Facebook page, which really helps us to understand this great transformation that is happening inside of our physical bodies, and is tracking all the same things as we, the genetics and the transformation of all of the consciousness that is happening on every level within and all around. If this love stream was inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. We love we. We thank we. Mwah. Aloha.